Hey y'all, I got this question from William. It says, hey Heather, for some reason the other day I was thinking about making some content. I'm a brand ambassador for a blue collar apparel line. Then I got to thinking about what my friends might think. Not what complete strangers may say, but it paralyzed me. Do you experience this fear of what your closest friends or family members may think of your content? It seems that the people who should be in our corner are often our biggest naysayers. Listen, William, that has been my biggest hang up, my biggest fear. I've never really worried about what Joe down the road thinks. It's always the friends, the family. I call this the certain faces. It's not a muted face. It's not a blurry face. It's not an unknown face. It's a specific face that you see when you go off to do your thing. When you go and pursue something really hard, it's a specific face that you see. Sometimes it's someone really close to you, like an immediate family member. Sometimes it's that person from high school who still freaking follows you on Facebook and comments on stuff and you have no idea why. It's that certain face. There's something about this one person that triggers something inside of you. Maybe you love this person. Maybe you have a close relationship with this person. But for some reason, when you step up to the plate to pursue that goal, that dream, put yourself out there, their face pops up in your head. So I want to approach this in two ways. First of all, we're going to look at the why, and then we're going to end this with the what now. So I've experienced this certain face syndrome with mostly two areas in my life. The first being my business pursuits and media pursuits. Those are intertwined with me putting myself out there through my content and trying to blaze my own trail, do my own thing. And then honestly, with fitness, I have a lot of, and the fitness one's quite a bit less than the business media one because that's my huge heart and passion. This past year, I've taken on a journey of really going in heavy with relearning what fitness means to me, getting in better shape and so forth. Shout out to my trainer, Pernilla. She's amazing and has taught me so much and gotten me so far. But it's been interesting pursuing both of those worlds, just bettering yourself in general. It's wild to me, some of the feedback that I've gotten from people who were the closest to me, people who you would think, like you said, William, would have your back, but honestly question you or make these little side comments, and maybe they mean it, maybe they don't, maybe they recognize it, maybe they don't, but it's like they're not only not involved in your goals and wanting to help you get there, but almost seeming negative towards it. So why is this? I have down 3 ideas that have helped me process through the why, God, why? Number 1, just projection in general. Folks that feel a certain way about themselves or insecure about certain things in their own life will project that onto you. I know I, a few years ago, had a friend reach out to me, and I didn't even know that they felt this way, but they reached out in a DM and said to me, like, hey, sometimes it's hard watching you do X, Y, Z because it reminds me that I have that in me too, and I'm not doing it. And I was like, damn! And of course, it's weird how when you're pursuing something, you don't really give a crap what other people in your life are pursuing or not pursuing. It's not about that. The health journey I've recently been on, folks like, why are you trying to get in shape? And also, if you're already in good enough shape, that's what I hear all the time. And I'm like, this has nothing to do with you. This has everything to do with me and what I want. Why are you even interjecting in here? But the projection thing is interesting because we do that just in general in life. We throw up on other people what we really feel about ourselves or what we feel about the world, right? The second thing is they've never done this before, so it's foreign to them. This actually comes from Dan Martell, I believe. This was a clip that I found on TikTok of an interview that he did. Check this out.
If you want to live a life that's bigger than anybody that you currently have in your family, it is unreasonable for you to expect them to understand what you're going to do. Hey, why don't you believe in me? They've never done this. You're telling them, I'm going to go do something they've never done, and you're wondering why they don't support you. Well, it's because you sound crazy to them.
They've never done it, so of course it's weird to them. It's foreign. What are you talking about? I've never done this, so why are you doing it? Of course, they question it, and we should expect that. The third clip I want to play you comes from Lewis Howes' podcast, School of Greatness, where he interviewed Jen Sfero, who wrote You Are a Badass. And here's a reason why she believes that people will poo on your goals, your dreams.
Number one question I get at my talks is, what do you do when the people closest to you don't support your growth? And the main reason they don't support it is because you're killing off the person they love.
Oh, man.
I mean, think about that. Like, you're changing who you are, and they're comfortable with who you are, and they feel that's their reality too, is caught up in who you are being. So when you decide to change, you're killing off their buddy or their whatever, and you're screwing up their reality because you fit into theirs.
So whether it's projection, whether it's just a mystery, they have no idea what you're doing because they've never done it before. Maybe it goes deeper where they feel like you're killing off somebody that they love. Here's what's important to me at the end of the day. It's not necessarily the why. Why are they doing it? But the what now with it. Yes, William, it's going to be awkward and weird, and the people the closest to you will give you the weirdest looks. We can dig in deep of why that is and try to figure it out. But for me, at the end of the day, the what now, what do we do with that information? What do we do with those feelings is what separates those who dream about stuff and those who actually do the thing. So what now? I think it comes from AA, this idea of if you want what I have, do what I do, something like that. If you reverse that idea, someone told me this years and years ago. Maybe I heard it on a podcast. I never know. It's never take advice from someone whose life you wouldn't trade. Never take advice from somebody. Never take feedback from somebody. Never take that criticism from somebody whose life you wouldn't trade with. Now listen, that feels super judgmental and weird, but if you take it just from a slice of their life, right? Would I take relationship advice from somebody who has failed relationships? Would I take fitness advice from somebody who's not healthy? Would I take following your dreams advice from somebody who never freaking wrote their book or did the thing that they said they always wanted to do? Not in a judgmental way, just take a sliver of that one thing that they're criticizing you about and say, would I trade lives with them in that area? So why am I listening to it? Why am I taking that advice? Because when you take that advice, you're following their recipe, their formula for what they're doing. And if you don't like those cookies, don't mix those ingredients together and put it in the oven. Holla, amen. So would I trade lives with them in that area? Should I be taking this advice? Next, am I going to let this person keep me from my highest calling? And let me reword that, because somebody can't keep you from your highest calling. Am I going to allow myself to be moved and kept from my highest calling? Am I going to allow myself to be bent out of shape, to be pulled, to be distracted, to be discouraged based off this person's feedback, their negativity, whatever? Am I really going to let that keep me from what I'm dreaming of doing? I picture myself as a little old lady all the time and looking back over her life. Am I going to regret not doing this? Am I going to regret not freaking trying? And lastly, this is so critical, having a new normal, being so intentional with surrounding yourself with people that are doing what you're doing. The reason it's awkward a lot of times when we're doing stuff out loud in front of these certain faces is they're our normal. They're our homeostasis. They're the temperature in the room, right? And sometimes when you got to get out of the room, I was telling my coach this recently, as I'm trying to get in better shape, I need to be around people who are in freaking badass shape. I need to redefine what my normal looks like, because if the circle that I'm in, if this environment, I'm the outlier, I'm the weirdo, of course I'm going to feel like a weirdo. So what new environments do you need to place yourself in? And y'all listen, that's sometimes really hard to do, especially when you're starting off. That's why digital mentorship is so important. Constantly listening to stuff and just putting in your sphere kind of language of the person that you want to become. You know, in the Bible, it talks about renewing your mind. You really have to reshape, retrain your mind of what's normal, what's acceptable, what's possible. So I hope this helped look at the why and then the what now. The why, sometimes people are just projecting their own shit on you, man. Sometimes they just literally have no language or understanding because they've never seen it before. And dude, exposure to new ideas and new ways and new habits and new possibility, what a privilege that is. I remember when I first started getting into personal development and learning this stuff, my mind was blown. You have a choice of who you become. You can crawl out of something and build. Like, that was a foreign concept to me. So maybe We can look at these, quote, naysayers with an empathetic heart of, yo, you haven't been exposed to this. You haven't been exposed to possibility. Maybe your entire life you were taught and trained that this is just the way people are. Man, I don't look at you now as somebody who's judging me. I look at you now with empathy of going, man, I really hope that your mindset, man, can grow and expand, not for me, but for you. And lastly, with the why, like Jen Sincero said, maybe they're just sad because you're killing off somebody that they love and they knew, fond memories, and they're seeing it from a subtraction as opposed to an addition, an elevated you, a new you, a better you, right? But regardless of the why, the what now is the most important. Should we be taking advice, criticism from folks we would not swap situations with? Are we really going to allow ourselves at the end of the day from not stepping in fully because of our insecurity? It has nothing really to do with them. It has to do with our insecurity. They can't affect us, right? Yeah, it might sting a little bit, but it still is a choice how we view this situation. And lastly, redefine what normal is. I'm not saying you can't close the door on all friendships and family members, and you don't want to, but you can adjust the ratio of who you spend time with. What is your new normal? Even if that's just freaking listening to YouTube channels on repeat. William, make your content. I hope this is encouraging to you. And listen, if you are watching on YouTube or even Spotify now, you can comment. Please drop me a comment. Let me know what you think about this, what you would add, what maybe you disagree with. I love you. I'm in your corner. I'll see you soon.